You got everything plugged in?
I walked in the place, sat by the bar, all the drinks on me, don't go too far, sitting by the bartender, asked her.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Icon. And we here on 910 Sports once again. First and foremost, I got to thank God for this opportunity to be able to come on here and just to have, this opportunity to have this great show, this great platform to do what we do. And, next, and, I'd like to introduce my right hand man, your baby mama's favorite host. You know what I'm saying? The man of many tricks in this game. He's been around for 25 plus years. My man Jacob the Great in the building. What's going on, fam?
Man, what's good? What's up? What's up, man? What's happening? Happy Sunday, everybody, man. Blessed to see another one. Glad to be in the land of living. And, we always got that chance and a choice, man, to get it right and just to inspire somebody, man, because you never know who your encouraging words may bless.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, I'm gonna go ahead and let you throw out the first topic. I know kind of what it are. Well, I throw out the first one. We kind of already know what it is. We're gonna discuss this whole game yesterday with prime time. Um, be honest with you, I thought it was gonna be one of those situations where I was gonna be up, maybe the first half of the game. They were gonna be up 42-0 or something crazy. And, we talk about it the next day or whatever. But that's not the way it turned out. Um, I kind of figured in the first several minutes, I said, okay, Colorado State, it was a very intense game. It seemed like almost on every other play, almost a fight almost broke out. You could tell it was personal. You could tell it was a rivalry there, even though these
Hmm.
two teams haven't had much success lately. You could still tell because it was an interstate rivalry. You know what I'm saying? We all know how that is. When you in the same state, I don't care what your record is. It's a rivalry. It's a rivalry. And then the late hit on Travis Hunter, which was uncalled for, unnecessary. Um, that kind of made the game like go to another level. And I will say this about Shador Sanders. Um, I'm going to go over the good and the bad with him. The good is he has a lot of poise. He doesn't get rattled. He never lets stuff bother him. Even when he makes mistakes, he keeps coming. The problem I see with him sometimes is he holds the ball on too long. He puts his offensive line too much in a position where they can get holding calls, and it's like, okay, either pass it, run it, do something. But he's
Hmm.
standing like he in the backyard playing with the fellas. It's like you have to speed it up because if you the way he plays, if he that's one of those things. If you take over to the NFL, it may catch up to you. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? One of
yeah.
those because you're not gonna have that kind of time in the NFL. Even against sorry teams, you're not gonna have that kind of time. You know what I mean? Because or whatever. But and that Kamara cat man for Colorado State, they were like that dude there. He was all over the field. Like he was looking like Michael Parsons out there the way he was getting to it. So, but like I said, it was a great game. Um, great atmosphere. Like I said, I stayed up the whole time. I watched all the way through double overtime, but I really like what I seen. And we'll get to the rest of it in a minute. I'll let you chime in right here.
Well, I just want to say, talk a little bit more, Icon. Let me get my thoughts together to talk a little bit.
Okay, so what I was gonna say was next week they got Oregon, they got USC. I don't really, from what I've seen from Oregon and USC, and what I've seen from Oregon's from Colorado's defense, uh, like it's kind of like what Prime said. He need about 7, 8 more dogs. He needs better linebacker core. Um, he needs, the back end is pretty decent, but that front seven, leaves you a lot to desire. So I do feel like that that they do have to uh, correct that situation. And before we move it forward, I just seen it. Doggone Denver just got a Hail Mary, so we about to see what's gonna happen.
So
Leave it
what?
us. To,
Oh wow, there we
yeah.
go.
So they down by 2 with a Hail Mary pass. So we live right now, everybody. Right now we down. I just told Jake. I said leave. I said I got to see the clock go to zeros to leave with us to mess this up or whatever. So they got a Hail Mary with no time left on the clock. So we're gonna see if this guy get this 2-point conversion or not.
Okay. So what I want to say about the game on last night, man, just like what other coach can have people up, men and women, up at 2 a.m. in the morning watching a football game?
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy, bro. Like prime time, and then they talk about his sunglasses, so he put them online. The first day he hit 1.2 million in sales. Um, and his son Shador. I think he got a lot of poise, man. I think he's he to me, he got to use his legs a little bit more, but he put me in the mind of Deshaun Watson a lot. You know how much poise he got in the pocket, and you know how he can see the field. You know,
Mm-hmm.
cause for him to march that ball down the field that quick, you know what I mean? Like to me, that was amazing. So I think I just want to know what the defensive coordinator be thinking about sometimes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know why the defensive tackles and the nose guard is not shooting through the gaps,
Yeah.
and I want to know why the defensive end are not containing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a lot of outside plays, slant routes on the outside that Colorado State hit and was on the money. And so, but when the defensive end come through and make that quarterback go on the inside, that's when that middle linebacker, you know, whether it's the Mike or the Will linebacker, that's when they're gonna put that pressure on. So, and
Yeah.
then the DBs, even though they had 3 interceptions, they still played too far off the ball and gave the receivers too much space.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't give a receiver, you got to make them beat you from the jump. Like don't really give them the space to build their intensity up, you know, and and just to build their speed up. They was playing too far back off the ball,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and and the safety got to come up and hit, man, because
Mm-hmm.
that little running back was getting in the secondary, man, and the safety should have been in there like Stephen Atwater running a lot, you know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
just think the defense need to be tightened up, and I think he got multiple tight ends, multiple receivers. He got some good backs. You know, I just I just think Coach Prime, you know, is gonna shock the world. I actually got his show being recorded tonight because he got a live interview on 60 Minutes tonight.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I definitely want to see that. But you know, I'm proud, man, from the Pop Warner level to the high school level to the HBC collegiate level and not to the Power Five level, man. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he making some noise and you know, like I can tell you this. I listen to a lot of people, a lot of blogs. When I hear those white guys say, "Oh, Nick Saban and all these other coaches that they want to say about Prime," and Prime called my son tomorrow. He ain't talking to nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So when you hear these white coaches and these white bloggers and these guys be like Nick Saban, stop crying, man. You should have won the transfer portal. Dabo, stop
Mm-hmm.
crying. You should have won in there. You know what I mean? That's why you're
Yeah.
struggling. So Dion he did what they gave him. And so, oh yeah, you can go in there, you can get what you want, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's up to you if they're gonna come to you. So he sold
Exactly.
himself to him, and they came. So you know, shout out to prime time. You know, shout out to the young men and in Georgia. You wasn't impressive yesterday. South Carolina had you. Actually, South Carolina should have won that game. Georgia, y'all weren't
Yeah.
impressive at all, bro. Y'all wouldn't for you guys be coming off a national championship and South Carolina had y'all on y'all heels like that. That was not impressive. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Florida State should have lost against Boston College. That was not impressive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At all. So, you know, but I'm gonna tell you who are. Texas is impressive. Washington is impressive. Michigan always been impressive during the season, but they don't do nothing for me in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So when people say, "Man, I think Michigan might win," they're not gonna win one, man. They're going back home and eating oven Redenbacher like they do every year. Stop the press. Stop the madness, man. Um, and I think Texas, even Wyoming, look good, man. So, which I'm surprised a lot of the schools that one name look good, and I think that, man, that a lot of schools programs are coming back. I think Miami program is coming back. Florida State program is definitely coming back. I think even the Gators program is going to come back in the next 2 years, man. And I think North Carolina is going to have a good program for a very long time in football.
Well, to go back to the whole Deion thing, the thing that kind of like is like so amazing to me is they show, like he was saying, he made that comment last week that by the time he get to the end of the season, they liable to have like the BET awards on the sideline. And then last night he had Master P, he had Offset, Wayne the Rock Johnson was somewhere at the game, well, he was there. Shannon Sharpe and Stephen A. All those guys was there. Chauncey Billups,
Yeah,
Kyle Lowry.
Tunchi too. Had Tunchi there too.
Yeah. So all these guys there, and like I heard somebody say, it's crazy that it's a regular season game. It's not like a championship game. It's not a bowl game. It's not even a top. It's not even a team. It wasn't even between top five teams, like number one versus number two, like we used to do. Especially back in the day when you get them games back in the 90s, number one versus number two or something like that in the regular season. It was a big deal. It wasn't even that. It was a team that was coming up and a team that everybody thought was garbage at 10 o'clock at night. We on the East Coast staying up to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. Some of my people I know, like, how we older cats. So most of us in the bed by probably 11, 12 o'clock. If not before.
Facts.
You know what I mean? That's just what it is. And I stayed up. I was like, man, I wanted to go to bed so bad because I know I had to go to church this morning. And I was like, I can't take my eyes off this game. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And it was just that intriguing to me. And even it was to the point where you was kind of like, it almost felt like I'm like, man, this almost feel like a Hollywood story. Like I feel like they may pull this out because it seemed like Colorado State was doing everything right and doing everything wrong at the same time, which was weird because they was making all the big plays, but then they would get a dumb penalty after dumb penalty after dumb penalty. They had 8 personal fouls. I ain't never seen no football game where a team got 8 personal fouls in one game. That was crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So this is the thing about Colorado State. Colorado State got potential to have a good team, bro.
Mm-hmm.
They really do. You know what I mean? But Colorado State, just based off the back and forth with their coach and Deion coach, coaches that take up time with kids, they love their coach. And I'm pretty sure them boys love their coach too. You know what I mean? And so based off the emotions. A personal foul ain't nothing but emotions that's out of control.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so, with that being said, man, I think the emotions got the best of them, and they had so many penalties, and they were dumb penalties. And a lot of people say those penalties gave the game away because Shador capitalized on those penalties. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? He made them pay. And so, with that being said, man, I don't look for. I think this game with Deion has motivated this coach. He ain't gonna never say that, but it has
yeah.
because you can tell coaches don't like Prime in the spotlight, so everybody gravitate to Prime.
Yeah.
Prime got millionaire friends. Prime got college professors. Prime got regularly average Joe people that he done helped through his nonprofit. He done put people in houses. He done bought them cars. He done sent kids to college. So Prime is loved by everybody because even though he's been on TV practice his whole life, I heard somebody say, man, when you meet him, he's the most humblest, down-earth person that you ever want to meet in your life, man. He's like, and somebody's like, Mr. Showman. I was like, yeah, they's like, come on, man, it's entertainment, man. So just like I can tell people the rapper Plies, I met him before. He ain't nothing like he is on records, man. just down to earth, love the kids, cause he graduated from Central Florida and played ball like that in Central Florida too. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
So I think that yeah, man, Dion is good for college football. I think Dion is good for parenting. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's good for the education system. I think he's good for teaching people how to be a productive citizens of society because we gonna keep it real. If you know anything about sports, the coaches with the kids more than their parents are with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So a great coach becomes like a father figure. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? A pastor, a mentor, a counselor, you know what I mean? So with that being said, man, he said in the speech that I love every last one of you. I treat all y'all like I treat my sons. It's no different. Because when you're here with me, you in my care. And so, I just get saluted and people said, boy, you be rough on that defense, man. I said, nah, man. I said, because this Power 5 football, man. If
Yeah.
that defense slip against Oregon, if that defense slip against Caleb Williams, they gonna make them pay, man.
Telling you,
But I said, let me tell you something about Oregon and Caleb Williams. They got two great quarterbacks, man. And boy, if that defense slip like that, it ain't nothing for them to throw 400 yards. Believe that.
yeah. Hey, all I'm gonna say is I watched USC play 2 weeks ago, and I know it was against like a lower opponent. I mean, I forgot who they was playing. I think it was Stanford. It was Stanford, but Stanford, 'cause Stanford is still a Power 5 team, man, a Power 5 conference.
Right.
So even though they wanted the bottom teams in that conference, they still considered a Power 5 team. And they had Caleb Williams threw the ball to 14 different receivers in the first half. They have speed everywhere. And the thing about it is, with Travis Hunter being out, that's going to be a major deal
But how
because
long though? But how long?
they said 3 to 5 weeks. So I don't think he's back by that game. Unless he does some miraculous healing between, because next week they got Oregon and they got USC. So the way he diagnosed, he's not going to be back for that game or
This
whatever.
is what I said. I'm not gonna say it's gonna happen, but if it does happen, I wouldn't be butthurt if Dion only lost 2 games. But if he go undefeated, man, I'm a congratulate him on that accomplishment, man, because that's a major accomplishment. Like what he did at Jackson State and how he's running this program at Colorado, man. Listen, man, like Jackson State hadn't won in almost 17 years, man. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like so, in Colorado, it's been Colorado probably only won 5 games, man, in the last 7 8 years.
Put it to you like
You,
this: if Colorado goes 6-6, I don't care if they 6-6 and get in a bowl game, what he's done in a 6 month span is incredible. Because there's I don't care who it is, Nick Saban, Bobby Bowden, I don't care who it is, Brick, Paterno, any of them coaches, which you can name whoever you want, to turn around a program to go from 1-11 and pretty much overturn your whole entire roster. Like I ain't seen nothing like this. Probably closest thing I've seen to something like this with Miami back in the '80s when Jimmy Johnson got there. That's
this
probably the
is a
closest.
this is a whole movie, man.
That's what I'm saying. That's the closest thing I've seen to somebody turn around a program in 1 year. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But not to the point where you turn around the entire roster. He only had I want to say 8-9 players come back from last year. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking about the total was 12. And I don't even know how significant them 12 players are that did come back. The only thing about maybe only a few of them actually got significant roles on the team now. So for what he's doing, because like I said, after he won the first game, like I told Crystal, I said, man, you're gonna tell me that Dion is only going to win 4 games. I keep telling him about 4-8. Dion not on Dion watch. Dion getting in a bowl game. I don't care if it's the Taco Bell bowl. He getting in a bowl game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Period.
people be acting like the man can't coach, but we already know better than that, man. We already know better than that. So So, but I mean, congrats to Coach Prime. He did his thing, and it was a great game last night, and it and it had me so sleepy this morning, boy. When I got up, boy, I was like, boy, I ain't getting no rest messing with Dion, man. Like,
No.
good God Almighty, man. Like for real, Dion, you got boy, man. So, but enough of that. So to this NFL, um, so Falcons and the Packers. What did Jordan Love do wrong in the clutch in the last 5 minutes?
You
Cause
said
Atlanta fans can say what they want to say, bro. Y'all wasn't impressive.
mm-hmm.
I feel like Green Bay gave them that game, man.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I just believe that Jordan Love is still young. He's still trying to figure his way out. Um, both of these teams in positions where they got quarterbacks where they still trying to figure out the quarterbacks, figure out what they got. I don't know. Was Kyle Pitts out today or something? Because I seen a lot of plays being made, but I ain't see a Kyle Pitts name get called one time.
Nah, I ain't see his name. You can call him any time either. So
So he must have been out today because I didn't see him at all on the field. I was impressed to a certain extent that Atlanta was able to come back the way they did. But like you said, Green Bay kind of gave the game away, but they were missing some people. Missing Aaron Jones. I think Watson was out, so they was missing some. They was missing some pieces out there that could have made a difference in the game or whatever. So, it was a good game. I don't really take too much out of it. The win or loss either way. It was a game that Atlanta should have won because they at home. And it's a game that Green,
yeah,
they can learn from and come back next week. I don't know who their next game is, but it's a game they can come back from or whatever. So that was probably my least interested game to watch. Like I really, I didn't care one way or another. Other than my son being an Atlanta Falcons fan, he kept talking about it the whole game. But other than that, I didn't really care one way or another.
okay. Danny Dimes, what's up? What you think?
Okay, so I do want to talk about this for a second. And I've said it all along and or whatever. Daniel Jones is not as bad as people make him out to be. He is not. He's not that. He's not terrible. He's not like I've seen quarterbacks way worse than him. Like Baker Mayfield the last couple of years, even though Baker Mayfield pulled out a win like today, last couple of weeks, but they've been playing against some sorry teams. But I've seen quarterbacks that I would take. Daniel Jones is a quarterback I would take over some of these other quarterbacks. And he proved it today. Like what we seen last week was the worst he could look, but it wasn't. But he redeemed himself this week. They was down the whole entire game, 28-7, and came back and walked them down. I know it was the Arizona Cardinals, but he still was poised enough to bring them back in that game.
But how do you redeem yourself from a 40-0 blowout at home?
By winning the game. By winning the next.
I don't know about that one, man. I don't really know about that. Nobody from the New York Giants or New York Jets can ever talk to me again. Go sit in the angry corner because I know you big mad. So, with that being said, I can see your point. You give him a little leeway. I can't believe the toughest critic of the sport world is giving somebody some leeway. I don't know what your wife put in that food today, but she need to put more of that in your food because you really happy go lucky today.
No, it ain't even. It's not that. But I've told y'all this over the last couple of years since we've been on 910 Sports. I told y'all that Daniel Jones is not as bad as people try to make him out to be. He's just not. You know what I'm saying? He does have some talent about him. You know what I'm saying? And last week, Cowboys is just they have a great defense. As much as I don't like the Cowboys, I got to give credit where credit is due. Their defense is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because I actually called 30-0, and the Jets end up getting 10 points or whatever off of like pretty much off of Malik Hooker getting burnt on that one play. But other than that, I called 30-0. They won 30-10. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. If the people don't believe it, they ain't go on my Facebook and look at my timeline. I called 30-0 last week, but it was end up being 30-10. But the problem is with Dallas is the same. It's just gonna be the same issue all year long. Is Dak Prescott, can he win big games when it matters? You know what I'm saying? Scored more than 30.
Hold up now. I ain't gonna sit here and let you talk about that. We're gonna talk about football. So when Ray Lewis won those Super Bowls, he didn't have a quarterback that don't even have a name like that. Dak got a pretty big name for a quarterback. Dak have stats to prove that he's somebody. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, you mean to tell me that you can win with Flacco, you can win with Trent Dilfer, but you can't win Super Bowl with Dak? I just don't believe that, man.
Okay, let me ask you this question. Since you want to put it out there like that, let me ask you this question. When is the last time a team won a Super Bowl with basically with just having a great defense?
It's been a while, but most teams don't have great defenses these days, man. Like,
so,
like most teams don't have defensive minded people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like a defensive minded coach. You know what I'm saying? The last team that had a defensive minded coach that I think that won a Super Bowl is Mike Tomlin. Yeah, even though he had Big Ben, but his defense was like magnificent, marvelous.
Yeah. So that's my thing is at the end of the day, you have, in this day and era, in this time, you got to have a comparable quarterback. And not to say Dak is not comparable, but what I'm saying is that's gonna be y'all one Achilles heel. I'm not saying he's terrible. But that's gonna, if y'all don't, he gonna be the reason why.
It ain't but three quarterbacks with what you just said that I can name. It's not but three. Ask me who those three are.
You said three quarterbacks is what?
That's like that, as they would say. You know what I mean? As young folks say, oh boy, we like that. You know what I mean?
Okay. So who those quarterbacks? Who those three quarterbacks? I already know one of them, but name the other two.
Patrick Moneybags.
Yeah, okay.
Joe Blow the Lover Man, Mr. Mr. Pimp Dot himself. And Jalen Hurts, Ramen Noodle King himself.
You said who?
Jalen Hurts, the Ramen Noodle King.
Okay. So now tell me this. So while we there, stay right there for a second. People gonna be asking tomorrow. You know this question gonna come up. What's going on, or what's wrong with Joe Burrow? You know that's gonna come up tomorrow. They 0-2. Basically, I think he only got one passing touchdown this year, unless they got one earlier after today. But I think he only got one passing touchdown for the whole season.
If you stay right there, I'm gonna bless you. Me and my sister just had this conversation. She's like, why everybody talking about Joe Blow? I was like, who worried about Joe Blow? Not real football heads.
Mm-hmm.
She said, why you say? I said, cause Joe Blow was 1-5. And he took them boys all the way to the Super Bowl on the road.
Mm-hmm.
So I ain't worried about Joe Blow. Cause Joe Blow always started out rough. He got to get, as a music artist say, I need the algorithm going. You know what I mean? So Joe got to get it going, man. And then it's drama in the locker room because he don't know if he gonna lose T. Higgins or not. So like he hold now. He trying to wrap his head around that. And then Joe don't start off hot. He never did, man. Even when he was a rookie, he didn't start off hot.
What do you mean lose T. Higgins? What, the free agency?
Man, they don't. They don't want to pay after this year. They don't want
Oh,
to pay T. Higgins.
they can't play him and Jamar Chase. It's impossible. They can't
You
because
can. You can,
you
Icon. You
have two.
can. You
Most of the league, T. Higgins is the number one. You can't have pay two players. So you're gonna tell me they're gonna pay two players, two wide receivers, $25 million? Because that's what they got to pay him and Jamar Chase. Is $20 to $25 million a year. They're not doing that. No, that's not happening. They'll draft another receiver before they do that.
and if they do, they won't get to the Super Bowl. They won't.
I'm about to happen. They're gonna have to draft another receiver. They're either gonna have to trade them or they're gonna have to let them walk, and they're gonna have to draft another receiver because we know receivers out of college is coming like a dime a dozen now. You can find a receiver anywhere, on any level. So they're gonna draft.
No, Icon. You can find a receiver, but a receiver that's elite, it's not a lot. Just like Garrett Wilson don't deserve to be playing for the Jets. He
What you
really
mean?
don't. He need to be with a team, man, that can
Oh
feed
yeah,
him the ball.
oh for sure. No, but I'm saying you don't have to have two elite receivers. If you got Jamar Chase, you can have a good, serviceable number two. Like you can find a number two receiver in college that can be on the other side of Jamar Chase. You don't have to have like two number one type receivers on your team to dominate, especially when you got a game like Joe Burrow. He just needs somebody that can do some similar things that T. Higgins can do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if he get another big receiver that can that can jump and run a little bit. You know what I mean? And that's because T. Higgins is the total opposite type of receiver of Jamar Chase. T. Higgins is your possession type receiver. He's the receiver that you throw to in the end zone. You know what I mean? On a jump pattern, on a jump route or whatever, and he go get it. So you can find another T. Higgins. Not to say he's not a great receiver, because like I said, most of the NFL look him as a number one. But they're not paying two players that same position $25 million or 20 to 25 million. They just not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just not the way the NFL operates. You know what I mean, or whatever. Like I'm looking around the league, you don't see. That's why Tyreek Hill left Kansas City, because they was playing Travis Kelce big money, and they're not going to turn around and pay Tyreek Hill big money. So they had to eventually let somebody go, because you still got defensive players you got to pay. You got, of course, your quarterback get paid. You got, you got your defensive tackles or your edge rushers or whatever you got to pay. At the offensive linemen, you got to pay those guys big money. So at the end of the day, you just can't get away with. It's not impossible to pay those two guys that kind of money and still build around the rest of the team. So they don't have no choice but to let T. Higgins go. You know what I mean, when it comes down to it.
So that's why I always say that quarterback level. And people say, "Why you say that, Jacob?" I said, Tom Brady take a pay cut to win. He don't care about the money. He never have, man. Because he's did so many commercials in the past. So he lived off his endorsements. You know what I mean? And so he like winning championships. So me myself, if I'm Joe and I got 275 million, and I know that I can have both of them, I'll take a pay cut. I'll keep my young dynasty together, because if they stay together, bro, they can definitely win a couple championships together.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You know
I mean, I don't think I think they said with Joe Burrow, I don't think he took all the paper. I think he did leave a little bit of paper on the table. From I think the way his contract is structured, I think he did leave a little bit of paper on the table, or
but
whatever.
it is 275 million, bro.
Yeah, ain't nobody gonna give up the kind of money Brady gave up, or whatever. That's just unheard of. To be able to do that, everybody ain't built.
I tell people, do you know how much money he gave up to get Randy Moss over there?
I believe it. I mean, could the man only been taking maybe about 15-20 million a year for that? But I bet you somewhere in that contract where the Patriots gonna be paying this man like for the next 10 years or something crazy, or Tampa, or somebody gonna be paying this man on the back end.
Yeah. Just it's just like you got Ken Griffey that still get paid from baseball. Who is it? Is it Bobby Bonilla still get paid from
Uh,
baseball?
I don't know if he still does, but I think maybe up to like recently, maybe a couple of years ago, he probably still was, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure if he still is now. But
Hmm.
but see, but okay, but like that, once again, stay right there. So I don't know if you just seen Saquon Barkley just got hurt,
Right.
and sitting there thinking it because when he got, and it was like the last 10 seconds of the game, he comes out the game. They had to go out there to get him. He threw his
Mhm.
helmet down, in frustration, like he knew something wasn't right. And I
Right.
know he thinking in the back of his head, see, this is why I didn't want to take the no 1 year deal because of this right here. Now the ownership and general manager said, well, this is why we didn't want to give you more money because you're liable to get hurt again. So it's one of those.
But hold Icon. Look at the position he plays, man. He
Mm-hmm.
plays the most elite, toughest position on the field, man.
Yep.
The most brutal position on the field. And so just off that, man, I think they deserve the most money in the league, bro. That's
Yep.
my personal opinion. I think running backs deserve the most money in the league to secure them, man.
You're right.
And then any running back, if I was a running back out, so you remember the dude named LaMarcus Lattimore that played for University of South Carolina?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
His parents took out a $10 million policy on his legs
Mm-hmm.
when he first went to South Carolina. And so, he got drafted by 49ers. He only played, his legs were so bad he couldn't play. So once that happened, he received a check from the insurance company,
Mm-hmm.
that they had insurance with. So I think running backs should always put insurance on their legs, man. For real,
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Because a running back here, they ain't going tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So now, question for you as a Commanders fan, or I'm gonna say as a Redskins fan, and I ain't expecting nobody, but if they think so, man, that's their business. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, do you think after this season the Commanders will move on from Ron Rivera?
It really just depends on the outcome.
What outcome?
Because the outcome of the season, basically, how will we end up at? Like we end up in the playoffs or not? You know what I mean? Now, last week I was harsh on my team. I was Sam Howell's biggest critic or whatever because when you've been a fan of a team for so long and you've seen what they used to be, and the thing about it is we got new ownership that revived it. I feel like it's going to revive this team. You can see the energy is
Uh-huh.
way different than it's been before.
Uh-huh.
And so, but the thing about it is it's going to be based on the results. But Ron Rivera is going to end up shooting his own self in the foot. One, let's go back for a second. Last year, you had a chance to get into the playoffs. You bench Heineke, you put Carson Wentz in there, and we blow the game. He blows the game, and we end up losing our opportunity to go to the playoffs. You come into this season, and basically you had a nerve to say, if I knew Sam Howell was this good, I'd have been playing him, which you shouldn't have, you shouldn't have said that out loud. And it was something else he did. I can't remember something else he did. Now, they call him Riverboat Ron. And sometimes that could be something that could come back to haunt you. I'm watching the game today. We down 21-3. We play like hot garbage in the first half. A lot of teams would have got blown off the field. We looked like we were about to get beat 42-3. We were looking like the Giants last week against Dallas. That's how bad it was looking in the first half. We walked Denver all the way down. We made Russell Wilson look average. We made Sean Payton's play calling look average, and we came all the way back. We got a 21-21. The ball is on the 40-yard line. He decides to kick a field goal. The field goal kicker already missed like a 40-yarder, a 38-yarder in the first half, like a 45-yarder in the first half, badly. Like I think it was 49 yards in the first half. So I'm thinking to myself, what make you feel like if he just missed this 49-yarder, not even close, that he gonna make this 55, 60-yard kick, and we got Denver right where we want them. We pretty much stymied them. Just kick the ball, play the field position game, and then we get the ball back. So that could have been a moment if our defense wouldn't have stood tall and only held them to a field goal because they end up getting the ball at the 45-yard line. If our defense didn't stand tall, that could have been the moment that we could have changed the game back to them and lost the momentum that we had in this game. So my thing is I don't think in the long haul Ron Rivera is good for this team. We need. I think Eric Bieniemy could be better because even in the offseason, in the training camp, when they was like, oh, that Eric Bieniemy was ruffling some feathers and working these guys too hard or whatever, that's what we need. Just like when Deion went to Colorado and he had certain standards, like Deion say every day on his interview, the standard is the standard. So if Eric Bieniemy want to come in and ruffle feathers and make the standard, just like a Mike Tomlin, you know what I'm saying? So
It ain't
when
gonna
Black,
work, man. It ain't gonna work. You know why it ain't gonna work? You
why
you
it ain't
you,
gonna work?
you see what they did with Mike Singletary when he tried to ruffle feathers.
I
They
mean,
got
hey,
they got Mike Singletary out of there, man.
I mean,
And
I get
and people talk about Harbaugh. I don't want to hit it, man. Mike Singletary did the same thing that Mark Jackson did. He built them, they both built them teams from scratch, and somebody else represented their success. That's all that was.
well, I don't know what these players want because if you ain't never won nothing and you get a coach like a big enemy, you see, we scored 35 points today. I can't tell you the last time we scored 35 points. 35 points against a good defense. Like Denver, bad as the offense is with Russell Wilson, that defense was top 5 last year. Top 5 defense. And we scored 35 points on them today. You know what I'm saying? And Sam Howell had no turnovers. So I don't know what they want
Now,
from
Sean Payton is bad for Denver, man. Absolutely bad. I don't care what people say. They always give him a pass, bro. What has he done? Take Drew Brees away from Sean Payton. He's nothing more than a Nerf football coach. You know what I mean? And bad as I hate to say it, man. Yeah,
you talking about critical.
he won a Super Bowl, man. Stop it, man. Don't do that. Don't do that. If we can go back to that game and call play by play, we already know what type of situation that game was. I don't want to say it on the air, so I'm gonna be quiet. But anyway, we already know what it was. Us that know football and know about the pigskin game, we know what that was, man. So for that man to come in there and try to talk to Russell reckless, see, Russell ain't hung around nobody like me. Because listen, man, Sean Payton wouldn't have told me that I can't kiss my babies. I'm gonna tell you right now. Sean Payton, as Bernie Mac said, it would have been some furniture moving up in here. Yeah, bro. Like, get out of here, bro. Who are you, man? And why they get the most miserable coach in the world, bro? You know what I mean? He's miserable. Never smile. Never have no type of gestures, man. Like Sean Payton is a person that needs to go set in the angry corner, and count how much dust is on the wall.
Well, I'm gonna just say this: like, if they lose, like people gonna say, man, it's gonna be bad. Like if the Giants would have lost today against Arizona, it would have got bad in New York. If Sean Payton them lost today to the Washington at the crib and they got walked down the way they did, oh, it's about to be bad.
So
Either
so so
by the end
so
of the
who won the game?
Washington won the game. We ended up winning the game or whatever, 35-33.
So
But
hold, back up. Stay right there.
okay.
Um, Washington ended up winning the game.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all was down by 21 points, right?
21-3.
21-3.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what does this not make Sean Payton look incompetent? How does that make him look?
But he not gonna
since
take the. He not gonna take
since
the.
since everybody wanna, you know, say he's that and he's this, Sean Payton this and yeah, yo, he gotta take the blame, bro. He gotta take the blame, bro.
You
Yeah.
know who take the blame? Russell Wilson taking the blame for this.
No, nah, Russell can't take the blame for that, bro. Because if y'all came back and scored that many points unanswered, then that says a lot about the defense. Plays like they out back playing with Scooby Doo.
Hey, well, you know where who gonna take the fall then? Russell Wilson and the defensive coordinator. That's who's gonna take the fall. It ain't gonna be Sean Payton. They don't put Sean Payton up here on the pedestal.
But they only lost 35-33. So Russell got them in a great way, but the defense gave up all those points. Y'all was down 21-3. So how is it Russell's fault?
I
The
mean, if you look at the game, I'm not saying it's Russell's fault, but if you look at the game, he did fumble the ball that caused us to get a scored in. He threw an interception. You know what I'm saying? It caused us to get another score. So he did have his mistakes on the field that caused us to get back into the game or whatever and take over the game. So he did have his mistakes going.
even though he did that, he don't play defense.
Yeah, yeah. The defense, like I mean, yeah, it's a lot. It's gonna be a lot of questions to be like, but that's not Sean Payton's side of the ball. His side of the ball is offense. So the defensive coordinator gonna have to answer some questions of how you let Sam Howell, second-year player, based on his third start, come back and score 35 points on y'all like that. After y'all was dominate. I mean, we were looking that put it like this. Denver was doing whatever they wanted in the first half.
But I
Whatever.
thought, but I thought Sean Payton was the savior. I thought he was holding it down. I thought he was the football god. I thought he was. I thought he was one of the chosen one of the 12 disciples. Yeah.
Hey,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
all I'm
Yeah.
telling all I'm telling you, hey, it is what it is. So I mean, hey,
Oh, he's so great. Jerry should get rid of Mike and get Sean Payton. I can't. You know I told you this. I ain't never wanted Sean Payton in Dallas. I always told you that, didn't I?
yeah, you told me that.
Yeah. I don't want no Sean Payton, no Dallas man.
You told me that.
Like,
You told me.
like, get out of here, bro. Like, I just don't understand. So, you know, I'm glad that NFC East team got the win though. You know what I mean? I want
Yeah.
our conference to be lit for real, for real. So,
Well, we look pretty
all right.
good this week. Before we move on to the
Mm-hmm.
next topic, let me do the affiliates. Village Global Network partnership, 9 radio stations, 146 countries, whatever. So I want to shout out them, She Real Radio. You know what I mean? Our other partnership here in Atlanta with them. So check out She Real Radio.com. Definitely download her website. She got a lot of great music on there and a lot of different other shows, other than just ours. Also shout out to Independent Chicks and
T-Dub.
T Dub
Yes, sir.
Radio out of Mississippi. So shout out them also, and D Boss up in Canada. We up there in Canada also. So we everywhere. We everywhere. And shout out to Chosen One TV or whatever. We about to come with y'all with some here on Fox Atlanta. So we about to hit y'all in the head with some stuff on that one or whatever. So yeah. So anyway, go ahead. Get into the next topic.
All right, so man, we got about 11 minutes left. So, the next topic, man, is I think the Cowboys defense is elite.
Mm-hmm.
I think as I watched Dak today, we was in the 4 times from the red zones about 4 times,
Mm-hmm.
and he couldn't get us to the end zone. It worries me because in the playoffs, you know,
Say now you talking about something. Now he worried.
yeah, they do. But I was just making a point
Okay,
because
go ahead.
if the defense is clicking on all cylinders, man, the offense don't have to work that much. If the defense sacking the quarterback, they got takeaways, they get interceptions, scoring touchdowns, and so as you seen today, that was always in great field position because the defense made it that way.
Yeah.
And
Is
so and so and so if he couldn't get them in the end zone, the field goal kicker it was like he was kicking in his grandma's front yard. You know what I mean? So, so
And our problem is y'all get the big plays from CD Lamb, Tony Pollard. They'll get y'all in position off of big plays. But when y'all get in the red zone, that Prescott forget how to play quarterback. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? And that's what's gonna bite y'all in the butt in big games or the playoff games if he don't figure that part out. I don't care
yeah.
who calls the plays, Mike McCarthy, whoever you want to have out there calling the plays. Old boy that left y'all, I don't know why I can't recall his name right now.
Talking about Kelly Moore.
Telling Moore, whoever called the plays. At the end of the day, I don't care if you brought Andy Reid over there to call the plays. If that can't execute, you got too many weapons out there not to execute. You got a big receiver, Michael Gallup. You got a speed guy, CD Lamb. You got good tight ends. You got a good running game, and you got Deuce Vaughn, like he gonna be good. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be more dynamic in what you're calling out there and being able to execute the play the way you need to execute the play. It's kind of like he get tunnel. It's almost like he gets confused on what to do when he gets down there. You know what I mean? So that's the way I see it. But that's the only thing that's standing in y'all way between y'all and going against the 49ers. Because the 49ers, let's just be real, the 49ers and the Eagles is probably the only three teams that really got a legitimate chance. And y'all probably got a real good chance to make to the Super Bowl unless all three of y'all get like significant injuries along the way. But I don't really see anybody else really contending, like beating any y'all three. And if y'all gonna be basically, it's gonna come down to y'all three at the end as far as who makes it to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? Depending on who played each other in the divisional game and all that kind of stuff. But that's what it's gonna boil down to. You know what I mean? Because
I can dig it.
the thing about it is okay. The way if you look at it, let's look at it for a second. You got 49ers in the West. They're gonna win the West more than likely. You know what I'm saying? You got the Eagles. Let's just say you could throw Eagles or Dallas. Let's just say Eagles win the division. You know what I mean? Because they're the champs. I'm gonna give them their respect. Eagles win the division. That means Dallas be wild card. So that means the best of wild that Dallas could do with wild card game would be the 5th slot. So that will put them more than likely playing somebody like how, depending on how it falls, have to probably play 49ers in the division in the divisional game before the championship. You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Or possibly the Eagles, depending on who get number one, number two. So they would have to play one of the two teams on probably more likely on their way to the NFC Championship game. They probably have to play both to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? That would be probably their only if they didn't win the division. So it would behoove Dallas to win a division because you don't want to have to play the Eagles and the 49ers to get to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? You want to try to avoid one of them.
Yeah, yeah. So, we'll see what happens, man. And so far, it looked like the defense ain't gonna let up. And Michael Parsons, boy, that's crazy for somebody to be that young and that good. To me,
Yeah.
that's crazy. Yeah, man.
He scared me. He scared me beyond. I ain't been this scared of a player on the defensive ball side of the ball, like as far as linebacker since Lawrence Taylor, and Reggie White, them guys. Like we've had some great players, but not like yeah, you could look at Aaron Donald and all them, but Michael Parsons is because Aaron Donald, you can figure out a way to kind of bottle Aaron Donald up, double team him. You know what I'm saying? You could do different things to kind of defend him, but ain't nothing you can do with Michael Parsons. Nothing. If he wants to get to you, he gonna get to you. You know what I'm saying? I've seen him he done made Hall of Fame like linemen, Trent Williams, them guys on that level look average.
Yeah.
And so it's ridiculous what he's doing. It really is. And the thing about the only reason why he wasn't better than he was last year because Dallas sometimes didn't use him right. They try to use him at line and run with the receivers and the running backs out there. No, that ain't what he do. Every time that joker line up, that joker need to be going after the quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Unless he out the game getting a breather, I don't care if you just had to pay him on third down. If it boiled down to it, every time that joker line up, he need to be going after that quarterback.
Right,
Every
and then with the Cowboys, their offense, a lot of plays that they gave to Tony Pollard when they needed third down and 2, he couldn't get. Zeke would have got that, man.
mm-hmm.
Zeke would have got that. So the Cowboys are missing Zeke really, really bad, bro.
Yeah,
Really bad, really
yeah. They
bad.
gonna
And
call that power back.
like yeah, like man, you talked about. Well, what's that?
They're gonna have to get a power back from somewhere. They're gonna have to find a way to get somebody off a waiver or trade for a power back from
Uh-huh.
somewhere. Get a,
Yeah,
I don't know. Blunt still ain't playing, is he? Hey,
I don't
Blunt
think
still,
so.
huh?
I don't think so.
Not Blunt. Not Blunt. What's my man that played for Tampa? It is Blunt. That played for Tampa last year. Blunt, right?
Oh, you talking about
Not, not Blunt.
big boy that played for Tampa? What's his name, man? Oh,
Fournette.
yeah,
Fournette.
because Dad was talking. They was talking to him at one time.
Yeah, that's who they need. They need to get somebody like that for them, like you said, for them 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 type plays. You know what I mean? In the trenches, somebody can go get you 2 yards.
Yeah,
Pretty easy.
because with Dowell and Vaughn and Pollard, all of them really the same backs, man. They
Mm-hmm.
all great finesse backs.
Yep. Yep.
Speed, agility, quickness. You know what I mean? So, with that being said, man, and last question before we take it out here, Icon. Do you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers will fire Mike Tomlin after this season?
If it's his first losing season, yeah, I think they have to. And I hate to say that because I love Tomlin. And hey, look, hey, listen, he come right on up the road and come to Washington next year. We'll take him
And
all
I
day.
and I think Early Magic Johnson could make that happen. To be
E-
honest
e-
with
Exactly. So he come on right up the road. But I think sometimes, just in life, so people understand what I'm saying when I say this. Sometime in life, is you need to make a change. Sometimes
you.
you've
Yeah.
been so long, it's time to go. Because I think like if Popovich wouldn't have got old boy Wemby, I think it would have been time for him to go. And I think he probably was contemplating leaving if they wouldn't have got that #1 pick. I really truly in my heart believe if they wouldn't have got Wemby at the #1 pick, that Popovich would have retired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think Tomlin, at some point, it's what can you do? You got an average quarterback. Y'all not gonna really get any better. Yeah, you might be in a stable situation, but at some point, challenge yourself somewhere else. See what else you can do somewhere else. Like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, I think he's still kind of young. I think he was early 50s at the
Yeah.
most. So, I mean, you got plenty of time to do another 10, 15 years somewhere else. And like I
Yeah.
said, I like Tomlin every day of the week. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
Okay. And so one last question. Do you think that the coach for Miami Dolphins is the most poised coach in the NFL? A lot of the ESPN FS1 commentators think so.
I think, and of course, it depends on who credit you want to give it to. If you want to give it to him or give it to his offensive coordinator. I think they're the most creative. He's the most creative coaching staff in NFL behind Andy Reid. If you see them plays they was running last week, they was running type of plays out the backfield. I don't even see Andy Reid doing that motion stuff they was doing in the backfield, confusing the defense. And of course, it comes with the fact they got so much speed out there. But whatever their offensive coordinator is doing is different. You know what I'm saying? He got a different type of way he runs that offense. So I just think that he's one. Everybody want to always give Sean McVay and Mike Shanahan, all these coaches, all this credit. And I'm like, Mike Sean McVay, he cool, but yeah, he ain't. He another one kind of overrated. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But the Rams had a lot of talent, so of course they should ball out. You know what I mean? But sometimes look, they can't even beat Sean McVay. Can't even beat the 49ers. They lost 9 straight games in the regular season. If he's so great, you can't figure out this one team at least once or twice every now and then. Like, shoot, that'd have been like saying Pat Riley was a great coach, but he could never beat the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? So that would have been that type of thing, or vice versa. Like if Celtics if Casey Jones couldn't never beat the Lakers or whatever. You know what I mean? Or Phil Jackson could never beat the Pistons, and you know what I mean? Like, how you gonna say somebody great when they can't beat they arch rival on a regular basis? At least split with them. You know what I mean? Split a game every year. The one thing that made, I'm gonna say this before we get out of here. You know, the one thing that made the Carolina Duke rivalry so great was
because they split.
And Roy Williams went back and forth. Dean Smith and Coach K went back and forth. You know, every now and you get a sweep from one of the other teams, or they might go on a 3 or 4 game winning streak, but then the other team will come and go on a 2 or 3, 4 game winning streak, or they may split. You know what I'm saying? So you'll have that type of thing. Like it was like, you know, the last 100 games that Duke and Carolina had played, they was 50-50 with the same amount of points scored against each other in a 100 game span. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
And you know, Icon, the greatest 2 college basketball rivalries is none other than North Carolina and Duke and Syracuse and Georgetown. Hands down. Hands down, man. Hands down. You know what I mean?
And these younger cats don't know nothing about the Syracuse Georgetown. They be like, who? They could not. That was some great basketball. So kids, you got to be old school to know something about Syracuse and Georgetown rivalry.
Oh yeah, man. So man, it's been a good thing to chop it up on Sunday evening, man. You know, we've seen a lot today, man. You know, we got another game to watch, and you know, we back into the football season, high school, college, NFL, and you know, we back into debates and looking at offensive coordinators and looking at what they should be doing right, and you know, just we back, and let's not forget about, man, it's a lot of great special team coaches out there that never get no credit. So shout out to the coaches on any level that just coach special teams. Because we need them special teams to win.
Yeah.
So, man.
So from last thing, follow us. Please subscribe to 910 Sports and Entertainment Network for anybody watching on YouTube or hit us on the radio station. Please subscribe to 910 Sports and Entertainment Network. It's spelled out exactly the way it is. And if you want to be booked for an interview, or if you want to hire us to host something, hit us up at icone910sports@gmail.com for this particular platform. If you want us, and that's IKONE 910sports@gmail.com. If you want to book us, or if you want to come on for an interview, just email me and we'll set it up with you or whatever. And you can even send a bio and a pic when you do email us, make it a little bit easier for us to get you on, a little faster to get you on. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Like my man said, it was a great show. You know what I'm saying? We're about to go ahead and watch the Miami-New England game. And, you know, we'll see y'all next week, man. Y'all have a good one.
Peace.
I walked in the place, sat by the bar, all the drinks on me, don't go too far.